so sad. But at least I don't have to remember it, so that's good. All right. So, as I was saying, this does seem like an English class for the next 4 days, and it's more like where you're writing sentences. Today won't seem as much like English, but for sure Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will. Today starts out just looking at patterns and trying to make a guess about the next thing in the pattern. And when you're doing that, that is called inductive reasoning. So inductive reasoning is when you look at a lot of specific examples to arrive at a conclusion, okay? So when you make a conclusion about something coming up like that, that is called a conjecture. A conjecture in math is kind of like a hypothesis in science. It's kind of like an educated guess about what is coming next. So that's what we're going to do first. This first part is something you have done before, and then it goes into stuff that you really haven't done. So this first one here, they give us a list of numbers. We have to say what the next number in the pattern would be, and we have to describe the pattern. So there's two parts to this. Does anyone see what they could be doing in this pattern?
Going up, they go up by 2, and then they go up by 3, and then they go up by 4.
Yes, yes. So what they did here is they added 2. Here they added 3. Here they added 4. Here they added 5. And the next one they're going to add 6. 19 plus 6 is 25, so that would be one of our answers, okay? And then the next thing that we have to do is kind of explain what happens. Now this isn't a super easy one to explain, so what I have you guys do is just say like add 2, then 3, then 4, etc. So I usually just state what they do in the first 3, and then you can see that pattern. And so this would be the second part, okay? Now, how about this next one? What do you guys think happens next in that one? Anyone see what the next one would be?
Add
15.
not 15. What would be 15?
Multiply by Max, I didn't see that. Multiply by -2 is correct. So each time they're multiplying by -2, 40 times a -2 is -80. And then this one's easy to explain the pattern. So we can just say multiply by -2. And you can feel free to abbreviate multiply like that. Okay. All right. How about this next one?
Add 3.
Add 3, yeah. So our next one is going to be 13. And then that one too is easy to explain. We just have to say add 3. Okay. How about this one?
Subtract 2, subtract 3, 4.
Yes. So we're subtracting 2, sorry, not 3 there. Subtracting 2, subtracting 3, subtracting 4, subtracting 5, and the next one we would subtract 6, so that is 5, okay? And then our answer for that would be one of those that's a little bit harder again to explain. So this time I would say subtract 2, then 3, then 4, etc. Then if we look at our next one here, it's 2, 4, 12, 48, 240. Can you tell what's happening there?
Multiply by 2, then multiply by 4. I mean, 3 and 4.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly. So we're multiplying by 2, multiplying by 3, multiplying by 4, multiplying by 5. So our last one is multiplying by 6. And I believe that would give you 1440. And again, when you like explain it, I would just say multiply by 2, then 3, then 4, etc. Okay. Now if we look at F, can anyone tell me what they're doing in that one? This one actually is a little bit harder.
You're adding 3 and 5 and 7.
Yes. So here you're adding 3, then 5, then 7, then 9, then 11. So the next one we would add 13, and 36 plus 13 is 49. Okay. And then again, I would just say add 3, then 5, then 7, etc. Right? Then if I look down here, it says movie show times. So first one is at 8:30 a.m., then 9:45, then 11, and then 12:15. Can you guys tell how much time is between shows?
An hour and 15.
An hour and 15 minutes. So our next show would be at what? What's an hour 15 minutes after 12:15? 1:30. Okay. So let's just PM that would be. And then we can say each show is 1 hour 15 minutes apart. Okay. All right, now if we look here, it says December, May, October, March. How many months between December and May is it?
5.
It's 5. So if you went January, February, March, April, May, and then May to October is also going to be 5. October to March is 5. What's 5 months after March? April, May, June, July, August, right? So the first answer is going to be August. And then when we explain it, we can say each visit is 5 months apart. Okay, so now let's go to this page. And here we have a pattern as well as some numbers below it, okay? And if you look here, it looks like what happens is each time they add this backwards L, okay? Now really what these numbers down here mean, just so you know, I don't know if you guys can tell this, but they're like graduated sides. Like this has 5 little segments by 5 segments and so on. This one has 4 by 4. This one has 3 by 3. So the 40 is a count of how many of these little segments there are, okay? First thing we need to do is draw our next figure. So I'm gonna draw a rectangle, and notice it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like backwards L's, so we would need 6 of them. Okay. Then, if we look, you have to try to come up with a pattern with either with this or with the numbers. And honestly, you could say kind of add a backwards L each time or something like that. But what number do you think would come next without adding or counting all the numbers and drawing them in? Can you guys tell what they're doing here each time?
+6 + 8.
Yep, +6, +8, +10, +12. So the next one is going to be +14. So this would be 54, okay? And the drawing, and then I think we still have to describe, no, we don't. So we don't have to say what's happening, we just have to do the next figure. So that's kind of nice. So here we have a diamond, so let's draw that. And then if you notice, we have the arrow going up, to the left, down,
To the right.
and this one would be to the right. Now, this one is like green, orange, green, so wouldn't this be orange, right? So, yeah, so this, oh, that's a bad orange, but imagine that's orange. Okay. So, and again, we don't have to explain it, we just had to draw that. Okay, so for here, can you tell what they're doing each time?
Adding 2 dots.
Yeah, one on each side, right? So this one had 4 going down, now it'll have 5 going down. So that would be our answer, okay? Now here, this might be a little hard for you guys to see, but this is blue. This is blue. And this is blue. Okay, so we're gonna draw the next figure, which is going to be a circle. And then notice it has a triangle on top. And then it has, on the bottom, it has 2 triangles like that. And in between here, there's 3. So you're gonna have like 1, 2, 3. And then same thing over here, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3. That's really bad, but, okay. And so we have the 3, 2, 2, 2, okay. So if you kind of numbered this, think of this as 1, this one as 2, this one as 3. So this would be 1, 2, 3. Do you guys get it? Would be this one that's shaded. So our answer would be this. All right. Then if I look down here, I have this going towards the right, down, left. So this time it's gonna go up. Like that, okay? And then we have to decide the colors. So this looks like a lighter blue here or lighter purple. I'm gonna just do blue there. So it was on top, and then you'll see it was on the right side, on the bottom. So which side would it be on here? The left. So this is that color. And then we have to decide what color to do the other side. And notice over here it was orange, green, orange, so this one would be green, right? So then we can just do green here. And for you guys, if you were doing this and you don't have colors, you can just write like blue and green in there, that would be fine. Or an arrow inside saying they're blue and green, okay? All right, now, this is the part that is gonna be a little bit different and something you probably have not done before, okay? So they're gonna give you a scenario, and we're gonna try to come up with a rule about that scenario, okay? And in this one, what they say is they want you to find the sum of two odd numbers, okay? You can use any odd numbers you want to. And we want to come up with like 4 or 5 examples where we add two odds and see if every answer has something in common. So you could go like 1 plus 3, and that's 4. You could pick 7 plus 11. They don't have to be.
They all equal to even numbers.
Yes, that is correct. So what I want you guys to do is come up with like 4 examples. 9 plus 15 is 24. And you might do 5 plus 25. Those are both odds, and that's 30. And then, like Maya said, they're all even, so your answer would just be that it's even. So whenever you add two odd numbers together, this is just saying they're always gonna be, the answer is always gonna be even. Okay? Now they want us to find the product of any two odd numbers. So again, any two. I'm gonna do 1 times 3 first, and that's 3. I'm gonna do 5 times 9, that's 45. I'm gonna do 11 times 11, no, I'll do 11 times 7. That's 77, and let's see, 3 times 15.
They're always.
That is 45. They're always even, right? Or, sorry, odd. They're always odd. Okay. Now this one says the sum of the squares of consecutive whole numbers, okay? Now, just to talk what that means, consecutive whole numbers. Whole numbers are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Consecutive just means ones that are right next to each other. So they want us to add together the squares of 2 consecutive whole numbers. So let's try 1 squared plus 2 squared. Okay, they're consecutive whole numbers. We're adding them together and we're finding what it would give us. 1 squared plus 2 squared is 1 plus 4, which is 5. Okay, then I could do 3 squared plus 4 squared. That's 9 plus 16, which would be 25. I could do 6 squared plus 7 squared. That would be 36 plus 49, which would be 85. Can you already tell what our answer is going to be? They're all going to be odd. Very good. All right. All right. Now this one's a little bit different because this is giving us like a geometry situation and we have to say something about it, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is draw this out. Point P is the midpoint between N and Q, okay? Do you guys remember what a midpoint is? Does it tell us something about these two? If it's the midpoint is the middle point. And do you guys remember how those two pieces would be equal? So what you could say as an answer here is just that NP is gonna equal PQ. Now, there's not just one right answer for this. Somebody else might have said N, P, and Q lie on the same line. Somebody else might have said N, P, and Q are collinear. All of those are okay. This is either this or the fact that the segments are congruent would be the most specific thing that they would want you to say. But if you said one of those other things, I can't mark it wrong because they are true. Okay. All right, so let's go to our last page. And it says, make a conjecture about each value or geometric relationship. And so this is going back to what we learned even before Christmas. Do you guys remember what a linear pair is? It's a pair of angles that forms a line, okay? A linear pair is a pair of angles that form a line. So it looked like this, okay? Like that. What do we know about a linear pair? If you added angle 1 and angle 2, what should they equal? 180, right? So what we would do there is just say, you could say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. This just means measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2. If you didn't have the m's there, it's not the end of the world. What's another word for 180, for adding up to 180? Do you guys remember? It's in the back of the room, on the top. Which one, what word means that they add up to 180? Supplementary. So another thing we could have said is angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. Okay. So what you're trying to do when you have something like that is come up with a statement that is true. You could have said angle 1 and angle 2 form a straight line. That's true too. Do you guys remember adjacent angles being right next to each other? Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent, so you could have said angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles, and that would have been okay too. So some of these have several answers, okay? Now, this one here says angle 1 and angle 2 form a right angle. So the first thing I always do is draw this out. Okay, so here's a right angle, and for that, I know one of my angles is 1 and 1 is 2, okay? What do you guys think we could say about that one?
Angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees.
Yes, very good. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 90. Very good. What's a word that means adds up to 90? Complementary. So another thing you could have said is angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary. Okay. Now let's look at C. It says angle ABC and angle DBE are vertical angles. And this again is from before Christmas break. Okay, so I'm going to draw this. Now, notice each of these have B in the middle. Okay, so that means this point right here is going to be B. Okay, then one of our angles is ABC, so I'm going to have this be A, B, C. Okay, and then for the other one, I'm going to call it D, B, E. Okay, now they're telling us these two angles are vertical. If you remember what vertical meant, it's when you have two straight lines, it's the angles across from one another. What do we know about vertical angles when they're across from one another? Do you remember?
If you turn them like this, you turn them slightly, they become a right angle.
Not necessarily. You would have to move one of those lines for that, and you wouldn't be able to do that. What we learned about vertical angles, you guys, is that they're congruent. Those two angles, if they're vertical, are congruent. So what we could say is the measure of angle ABC equals the measure of angle DBE. Or if you wanted to, you could say angle ABC is congruent to angle DBE. So you'd have to remember from chapter 1 that vertical angles are congruent. Okay? Now, let's go to this last one here. It says A is the point -1, -1. So that would be right here. This is point A, okay? Then they tell us that B is 2, 2. So I'm gonna go over 2, up 2, and that is my point B. And then C is over 4, up 4. So I'm gonna go 4 to the right, up 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is my C, okay? Do you guys notice anything about those 3 points?
Straight line.
Straight line. So we could draw, I'm gonna try, let's see here. I'll start here. Okay. They're all on a line. So we could say A, B, and C are on the same line. Or, do you guys remember what word it is when you say points are on the same line? Say that again. Collinear. Collinear. So, or we can say A, B, and C are collinear. So either of those would work. Okay. All right, so your assignment for today is some worksheets, and I'm gonna check Schoology real quick and make sure that they are in Schoology for you. Thank you, ma'am. Yes. All right, guys, so here is the worksheet. Again, look at the top. Look at the top of the worksheet in my writing to know which ones to do on each page. And the last one doesn't say which ones to do, but that page you do all of them, okay? First 2 pages do what I say, very last page do all of them, on your own paper, and please write section 2.1 worksheet on the top of your page. Okay?